Tonight, Bill Clinton may regret attacking Trump's slogan.
Together we can make America great again.
Make America great again.
Time to make America great again.
Donald Trump may regret his affections for Vladimir Putin and ripping our military leaders.
The generals have been reduced to rubble.
And Gary Johnson may regret his oops moment on national TV.
If it is kissing my chances goodbye, so be it.
We'll score the week in politics and call out the contradictions and gaffes. And we'll explain what's up with North Korea.
North Korea needs to know that provocations will only invite more pressure and further deepen its isolation.
We'll examine the erratic dictator who keeps testing nukes and how we got to this point and what happens next.
This is in complete disregard of the repeated demands of the international community.
This is Money, Power, and Politics. We start tonight with a threat to our national security that has not been getting the time and attention that it deserves from the candidates. Because while Trump fixates on Clinton's email and Clinton fixates on Trump's controversial remarks, South Korea detected a 5.3 magnitude earthquake, and then North Korea announced that it just tested its 5th nuclear warhead. Here's the bottom line on this. North Korea is run by an unstable, murderous dictator who has it out for us, and he's learning how to launch nukes that can travel closer and closer to us. And this could mean, or probably means, that North Korea will have the ability to strike the United States with a nuclear warhead by the end of the next president's first term. Now, to understand this mess, you have to look back at how this all started, with a war that we entered with South Korea that never officially ended. And now North Korea is starving and its dictator is erratic and has threatened nuclear war.
Well, he's an amateur and he's had everything at his fingertips his whole life.
And now Kim Jong-un has the power to use nuclear weapons on South Korea or launch other missiles more than 2,000 miles away that could hit Japan or Guam. He could do major damage to that part of the world.
We have to take it very seriously. We have to be prepared not only to defend against these missiles, but also to protect the interests of the free and democratic governments that are out there that are being threatened by North Korea.
This crisis really started more than 60 years ago. Japan conquered Korea, then we conquered Japan. Stalin and Truman divided Korea along the 38th parallel. The Soviets shaped the North, we shaped the South. Then the North invaded the South. The war turned into a stalemate, but never officially ended. So Kim Jong-un could try to end it now.
I can tell you that there's always been a nervousness in South Korea.
USF professor Dr. Susan McManus studied in South Korea as a Fulbright scholar. She says there have always been threats over the years, but this time is different. If this dictator is driven by attention, how do you talk him down?
He has to escalate up, and that's what's scaring a lot of people, is where does it stop?
Now, based on history, North Korea could be trying to press for more aid or concessions from the United States and the rest of the world, or it could be gearing up for battle. Please check out my Facebook page for more on this. Search for Fox 13's Craig Patrick on Facebook. We have a closer look at the crisis with North Korea, the problem, our options, possible consequences of each option, and where we go from here. Now, on to the 3 big points in the race. First, Gary Johnson's epic gaffe. He committed one of the goofiest blunders I've seen this week, revealing his ignorance of the crisis in Syria. And he may have just blown his chance to nudge up in the polls enough to get into those national debates, and he gets that.
Well, if it is kissing my chances goodbye, so be it. But I've always been served really well by telling the truth, and you tell the truth and you can get your way through things.
Meanwhile, Clinton and Trump have ranked as the most unpopular nominees in modern history, in part because they have both said a lot of things that do not add up. Clinton and her emails, Trump and his shifts on immigration, and his secret plan on ISIS that involves asking generals to come up with a plan for ISIS, and his gushing praise of a dictator who has a way of making his critics disappear. But tonight, I want to key into stuff that they've both backpedaled on since Thursday. So second big point, we already have troops on the ground.
They are not going to get ground troops. We are not putting ground troops into Iraq ever again, and we're not putting ground troops into Syria.
Yeah, that sounded kind of weird, especially since we have 4,460 U.S. troops already on the ground in Iraq, and we have 300 mostly special operators already on the ground in Syria. So Clinton had to clarify. She said ground troops, meaning she didn't mean that. She meant no large-scale ground combat and not those who are already on the ground.
I support special forces. I support enablers. I support surveillance, intelligence, and reconnaissance.
And then Clinton attacked Trump where she appears to have an opening.
What would Ronald Reagan say about a Republican nominee who attacks America's generals and heaps praise on Russia's president?
And that's our third big point. Trump may also get burned by praising Putin while trash-talking our own military leaders and suggesting he'd kick them to the curb.
The generals have been reduced to rubble. Well, they'd probably be different generals, to be honest with you. I mean, I'm looking at the generals.
When pressed, Trump also backpedaled a little bit and refocused his attacks on the administration as opposed to our military.
I have great faith in the military. I have great faith in certain of the commanders, certainly, but I have no faith in Hillary Clinton or the leadership.
So now let's go to the scoreboard. This week, Donald Trump narrowed the gap in the polls, so we'll say he did, in fact, win the week. The race is basically reset to where it was before the conventions. Trump's the underdog in this, but he's now within striking distance and closing in. And Bill Clinton fumbled this week by claiming Trump's slogan is racist.
That message, where I'll give you America great again, is if you're a white Southerner, you know exactly what it means, don't you? What it means is, I'll give you the economy you had 50 years ago, and I'll move you back up on the social totem pole and other people down.
I say Bill Clinton fumbled by calling Trump's slogan racist because he apparently did not remember that he used the same theme long before Trump.
I believe that together we can make America great again. To secure a better future for your children and your grandchildren, and to make America great again. I want to attack these problems and make America great again. It's time for another comeback. Time to make America great again.
And Bill Clinton didn't just use a slogan he calls racist for himself. He also used it to promote Hillary when she first ran for president.
Time to make America great again. I know Hillary's the one who can do it.
Meanwhile, Team Trump may have fumbled in Minnesota and could get his name kicked off the ballot there. The Republican Party is facing accusations that it broke state law in Minnesota by picking alternate electors in a closed-door meeting instead of an election. So now they're facing a legal petition that seeks to remove Trump's name from all the ballots in Minnesota. But at the same time, Trump is gaining some points in the battleground states, and we want to show you how he could be doing even better than the polls suggest. Republicans are outpacing Democrats in voter registration in some places where it really counts. Check out the graph. In Florida, Democrats still outnumber Republicans, but it's always close. And since the last presidential election, Republicans have gained 162,000 voters, while Democrats lost nearly 137,000 voters. You see a similar pattern in the state of Pennsylvania. Republicans gained 40,000 voters. Democrats lost 178,000 voters. And Democrats have also lost more ground than Republicans in North Carolina. And those three states will likely tip the scales. And here we go. Early voting has already started in the state of North Carolina. That's the first of 37 states that has early voting for any reason by mail or in person. And according to AP projections, get this, up to 75% of the vote in the key swing states will be in before Election Day. In other words, we appear to have a jump ball race right now, and the election has already started.
Coming up, Charlie Belcher picks up his weekly humor segment by reading our real viewer emails, and this time he asked me for some inspiration.
Oh, hello, Money, Power, Politics audience. I got to be honest with you. I'm exhausted. I'm just exhausted. I mean, I had my good day pep rally this week at a different high school every week, and it's always great. The kids are so enthusiastic, but oh, it really wears me out. I don't even think I have the energy to answer mail this week, to be honest with you. I mean, I really need some coaching up. One of those locker room speeches or something like that might do it, but I don't even think if that happened I could possibly muster the energy to go through all of this email. I mean, you guys are really loading up our email box, which is great. Keep the emails coming to mppmailbag@yahoo.com. I definitely appreciate that, but my goodness, I mean...
What's going on in here? Come on, you gotta get fired up. Let's go, let's go. This is the mail. This is the most popular segment in the whole show. You can do this.
Coach, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I'm good enough. I've lost my mojo.
Okay. Channel Jameis.
We got the best running back in the whole damn league.
Nobody reads mail better than you. Nobody tells jokes better than you. You can do this. Nobody wears that jersey better than you.
It's a 2X. Nobody else is going to fit in it probably anyway.
You want to get into the playoffs?
Yeah, I do want to get into the
playoffs. Playoffs? That's Jim Moore.
Yeah, it's not the playoffs. It's regular.
Whistle. You can do this. I know. Rocky 3. You had that eye of the tiger, man. The edge. And now you got to get back. And no. It's eye of the tiger. You got to wear those really short, little early 80s shorts. And then the two shocks way up here. That's right. And then we're jogging in slow motion with really tight shots of our calves.
Oh, it's not going to look good in slow motion. I had it, but I lost it.
Well,
I hate running in slow motion. What?
I'm feeling when the team is up against it, and the brakes are beating the boys, tell them to go out there with all they've got and win one for the Gipper.
Doggone it! Mr. President, I'll do it!
We did it!
I'll answer this mail!
Charley's fired up. Let's go!
Hey, can I have that whistle?
Sure.
No, I meant, can you know what? Never mind.
Oh, yeah, no.
I got this. I got this.
You got this.
We're going to do this mail for the Gipper.
For the Gipper. We're going to do it. Well, there you go again.
You're not going to look over my shoulder the whole time, are you? I mean, I got this now. I'm motivated.
Can I blow the whistle? Oh, no,
I got it now.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Go ahead. You're good.
You're not going to stand back there and...
I'll step back here.
Or over there is fine. Either there or in
here.
The other room. All right, let's go, everybody. I'm fired up. I'm ready to go. Our first email comes from Carly Edwards. She says, I absolutely love this. I am so sick of sad news. They make me laugh, even if some segments are silly. You're welcome. I rub my face thinking, am I really watching this? Look, I'll be honest with you. Sometimes I do the same thing. I do the little, did Craig and I really just do that? Yeah, we did. She says, yes, I am watching this because my other options are so lame. Love it. Keep it coming, guys. You got it. If I wasn't fired up before, I am now, thanks to that email. All right, let's see what's next. Elizabeth Stevenson says, thank you, Craig, for your Money, Power, Politics and for having John Wilson with My View Now on as guest occasionally. Ah, yes. John Wilson. You know, that's why I keep this with me at all times. He is quite the motivating person right there. I miss John Wilson. Wherever he is, whatever he's looking at, that's his view. All right, what's the next email? Brian Bell says, loved it. Fox 13 rules Tampa Bay. Thank you. Our viewers rule, and we appreciate you. All right, one more email. Well, you know what? This is fine. Judy Gardner says, pretty good. Well, Judy, sometimes pretty good is good enough. I'll take it. I'll take pretty good. Better than pretty bad. We appreciate your pretty good email. Keep them coming, folks. mppmailbag@yahoo.com. I am fired up, and don't you worry. I will never lose that mojo again. I will never let you down. Keep the emails coming, and we'll get them answered. I feel like I could run through a wall. I wonder what Craig's doing out on the set. Maybe I'll go run by. Thanks. Back to you, Craig. Here I come. Put me in, coach.
And now for our biggest moment of the week. This is time
Thank you for that pep talk.
Oh,
that
Charley.
was fantastic.
Oh, good.
I love it.
All right. Well, there we go. We'll be right back.
Okay, coming up, we're shifting gears to more serious news in the Middle East and some big decisions for President Obama and Congress. Families of September 11th victims could sue the Saudis, and Saudi officials have threatened to retaliate.
Convicted terrorist Zacarias Moussaoui admitted to planning the September 11th attacks, and he testified that high-ranking Saudi officials helped bankroll al-Qaeda. The Saudi government strongly denies that, but recently declassified pages from the congressional investigation also tie the attacks to the government of Saudi Arabia. And Congress just gave the families of September 11th victims the right to sue the government of Saudi Arabia. Well, the president has suggested that he'll veto that. So tonight, we want to show you why and how our relationship with the Saudis is at a fork in the road. We'll start here back in April. When President Obama landed in Riyadh, he was snubbed. State-run TV did not broadcast his arrival. He was greeted by the governor of Riyadh instead of the king. In other words, he didn't exactly get the royal welcome.
We're very grateful for your hospitality.
And when the president met with King Salman, they were certainly cordial in public, but there's a lot of tension behind the scenes. The Saudis are not happy about our nuclear deal with Iran. We'll start there. Then our government released evidence that suggests the Saudi government secretly supported the September 11th attacks. And within the U.S., there is a growing push to reconsider our relationship.
It allows the Saudis to continue feeling that there's no sanction against them to fund terrorist activities and to train the next generation of terrorists in mosque and madrasas, schools that are financed by Saudi Arabia.
And on top of all of this, Congress just allowed families of September 11th victims to sue the Saudi government. And Saudi officials have said that they would retaliate by selling off more than $700 billion in U.S. assets. So President Obama has to decide how much pressure right now to exert on our complicated alliance. That pressure could either force more cooperation or drive the Saudis away when we need their help to win the war on terror. And some, like former Senator Bob Graham, say there's even more evidence that implicates the Saudi government still locked away, and he's pressuring the White House to reconsider, once again, our relationship.
We provide them with security, and they supply us with a guaranteed source of petroleum.
Florida Senator Bill Nelson has also said the Saudis play both sides.
The Saudi government and many other Middle Eastern governments are quite duplicitous. It is a two-faced game. And this is particularly egregious with Saudi Arabia.
But keep in mind, our presidents have maintained close relations with the royal family for a very long time. And if we lose that relationship, it could disrupt oil flow and therefore our economy and key bases that we use to fight terrorists. And that could destabilize the Saudi government. And as we saw in Iran with the Ayatollah, a far more hostile regime could emerge. So the president, again, has a lot to consider in this. He opposes the bill that allows the families of September 11th victims to sue, in part because he said it would also enable people in other countries to sue our government. If he vetoes that bill, Congress appears to have the votes needed to override it and make it into law.
Coming up, 15 years after the attacks, we'll show you how America bounced back and transformed Ground Zero.
Well, 15 years ago, bin Laden tried to take us down, but he didn't. And John Scott shows us tonight all the progress that we've made around Ground Zero.
One World Trade was the first project finished, the tallest building in the Western Hemisphere, reaching a symbolic 1,776 feet. This new icon on the skyline followed by several other important projects, including a new transportation hub, the Memorial Plaza, the 9/11 Museum, World Trade Center Towers 3, 4, and 7, as well as a brand new park.
When you come out of the subway, you don't know where you are. You look up and you see the iconic buildings of New York, like the Empire State Building or the Chrysler Buildings, which immediately gives you a sense of direction, right? Now, all of the new downtown, Tower 1, Tower 4, Tower 3, is the new iconic landmark that really lets you see how, the site is being built and orient you, anywhere in the city.
And to see this sprout up, it's got to be exciting for you to be part of it.
Oh, absolutely. This is a dream come true. What we've been able to achieve here, what our founder and chairman Larry Silverstein has been able to do here as a true champion of not just New York City, but downtown and of the nation.
This is going to be quite a building, huh?
It is. This is Tower 3 of the World Trade Center. It's 1,072 stories. It's 80 floors. It's going to be an office building.
So this, when it's completed, will sort of complete the post 9/11 skyline.
And that's what we wanted to do along with the architect, to really emphasize that this building, along with Tower 1, Tower 4, and Tower 7, is a unique landmark of the downtown skyline.
And when you first came down here and saw what was here, I mean, it took more than a year to clear the rubble out of here.
Absolutely. It took a very long time. Over 5,000 men and women have worked on this site since 9/11. And to have all these people work here every day, it's a sense of joy and pride for them. And for me personally, to be able to work here is also a tremendous joy. It's a tremendous pride. And you know, we're doing this for all of New York.
America's coming back.
Absolutely.
We also took a behind-the-scenes look at One World Trade Center Observatory, the interactive museum at the top of the first building completed and opened at Ground Zero. They will hit 3 million visitors this summer. John Urban is general manager.
What do you think about when you come up here?
Inspiration. You know, it's 1,200 feet. It's there's a serenity up here that we all know what the hustle and bustle is of New York City down at street level. And you come up here and I think you see the entire tri-state area and beyond in a way that you're just not used to seeing. I think it's the best view in the world.
Yeah. This is more about rebirth and rebuilding than about the events, obviously, of 9/11.
The One World story is, as we like to say, is the fist pump part of it. It's the comeback. It's the tower back on the skyline. It's the excitement of welcoming people back to the top of this building. America's back in a big way.
Well, thank you for joining us. We will have an updated election forecast on Monday night. Thanks again. We will see you again on Monday.